Now to a double murder trial in Virginia making headlines across this country. Brendan Banfield is accused of killing his wife, Christine, and a stranger, Joseph Ryan, at their home in 2023 as part of an elaborate scheme to be with the family's au pair, Juliana Perez Magalhaes. He's pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors allege Banfield set up an account on a sexual fetish site and lured Ryan to the couple's home with a plan to frame him for his wife's death. They say once Ryan was in the house, Banfield shot him. They say he then stabbed Christine in the neck using this knife presented in court. Banfield then allegedly directed the au pair to shoot Ryan one last time, according to the state, before calling 911. The au pair, now the prosecution's key witness, agreeing to cooperate with investigators in exchange for pleading guilty to a lesser charge of manslaughter.
He said he wasn't going to hire anybody because that is something that throughout the investigation can be discovered easily. And that he had heard of a website called FetLife.
Okay. Banfield's defense arguing prosecution of taking advantage of the au pair and that Christine set up the fetish site profiles herself. I want to bring in NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris to break down this case for us. Misty, obviously a lot going on there. They're fighting this sort of theory, Banfield's attorneys are fighting this theory of that he set up this catfishing website, on that fetish website, I should say, catfishing on this website, and that the wife somehow had done it. Is this defense going to hold up?
So in the opening statement, the defense laid it out, and they said that police and investigators actually manipulated the evidence in order to fit into this catfishing narrative that prosecutors are putting forward. And one of the pieces of evidence that we expect to see is the initial investigative digital forensic report, which said that Christine Banfield had access to her devices before she died. So, Tom, this is where the au pair's testimony becomes so critical to explain away that theory. The defense is presenting these alternative explanations for what was found as opposed to this prosecution narrative.
The au pair obviously is a central character in all of this, but it seems like both the prosecutors and the defense are saying she's not the most reliable witness. Explain the strategy.
Well, so prosecutors need her because there's a whole lot of evidence here, but somebody has to explain this intricate, premeditated plan that that Banfield and she came up with in order to facilitate this killing. She's the only one in a position to do that, but prosecutors had offered her a deal where she pled guilty to a misdemeanor. So whenever you have a cooperating witness, Tom, the credibility is going to be taken into account, and it's something the defense is really going to focus on.
She gets off with just a misdemeanor.
She gets off with a misdemeanor, and time served is the recommendation from prosecutors, Tom. So think about this. October 2023, she's been behind bars. Provided she continues to cooperate with prosecutors, she will just have time served. She won't serve any additional time behind bars.
How does the case hold up so far? I mean, it looks like prosecutors put out a case with a lot of evidence. Do they have it? Will they win this case?
Well, it's an absolute compelling case. It's got so many twists and turns, but it's really going to rise and fall with the au pair tying together some of this other evidence. I think we're not going to hear from Banfield. It's really unlikely he'll testify. So the only way for the defense to overcome this mountain of evidence is to really poke holes in the credibility and present these alternative theories for the jury to understand. Remember, prosecutors don't have to prove motive, but they're certainly talking about motive here through the au pair, because the jury is going to want to know, why would somebody do this? Why wouldn't you just get a divorce?
Yeah, if the allegations are true, this is an incredibly gruesome case.
Absolutely.
Which I'm sure we're going to learn more about. Misty, we thank you for that.